attacks, as they call it. Then moving on, Greece joins Israel, USA military exercise in southern Mediterranean. So they're just going there to secure their oil reserves, right? Or energy reserves. 5 killed in U.S. drone strike in Yemen. So I don't know if you remember me in the last set of videos, I covered some news in Yemen saying that was basically next on the docket. Saying what? Here's some of the headlines. U.S. envoy claims Iran helps Yemeni rebels. So kind of some propaganda, right? Then malnutrition increasing in some parts of Yemen. So get ready for a humanitarian corridor and bombs to be dropped on the Yemenis. Then Yemenis stage anti-regime protests because, well, there's still remnants of the old regime still in there. Yemeni soldiers rebel against the generals of the army. So people know what's up over there. And it says here, Saudi deputy consul kidnapped in southern Yemen. That's right. So he's visiting, and he was kidnapped. So a lot of stuff going on there, and they got high prices and stuff like that. So it's like I said, you could see some more news on Yemen. Arab Spring brings steep rise in U.S. attacks in Yemen. At least 26 U.S. military and CIA strikes involving cruise missiles, aircraft, drones, or any other form of killing has taken place in the volatile Gulf nation to date, killing hundreds of alleged militants linked to the government's own terrorist network, Al-Qaeda, but at least 54 civilians have died too.
The CIA has uncovered a plot to bomb a U.S.-bound airliner. The plot originated in Yemen and was carried out by Al-Qaeda, the Arabian Peninsula, short AQAP. It involved a suicide bomber who was going to pick the target, and the timing was his choice. It appears that the plot was to be carried out, yes, around the time of bin Laden's death. Well, it's understanding the CIA knew quite a bit about this plot and intercepted the bomb in the Middle East, and also was able to bring it back to the United States, where the FBI is examining it. It's unclear what happened to the would-be suicide bomber. We know that the bomb was basically an upgrade of the bomb, the underwear bomb used in the 2009 Christmas Day plot that was supposed to blow up an airplane over Detroit. That particular device failed. We believe moisture got into the detonation system. This bomb represents an upgrade and a more sophisticated detonation system. The FBI is still trying to figure out how the bomb would have worked and whether it would have brought down a plane. It was a non-metallic bomb, so clearly they intended to penetrate U.S. airline security. While we can't specify specifically that the plot was timed to bin Laden's anniversary, clearly the plot was unfolding during this time period, even as the Department of Homeland Security was saying there were no plots.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Monday, May 7th, 2012, and I'm Darko. Okay, so supposedly I'm back, hopefully I'm back, we'll see, right? If you have any thing for me as far as projects or news advice, I appreciate it, but right now I'm swamped. Seriously, I got all this news that I never got to for the past week and the week prior to that, so just let me please catch up before you come at me with news and ideas, because it's already been a very stressful 2 weeks, or a year for me, but just the past 2 weeks. So I know you mean well, but just if you like GGN and stuff like that, you want me to keep doing this, please just let me do my thing. Okay, so US CIA stops new Al-Qaeda underwear bomb plot. We know what this is, right? We know that him right here was a patsy. We know that he was ushered onto the plane by the sharp-dressed man. He had a handler, and he was working for the FBI. It came out later that he was an FBI informant. Of course, most people weren't really paying attention anymore because it was out of the news. They were moving on to some other psyop. But what we got from that was this, which is going to be going into the UK, which is naked body scanners. That's what we got after the Christmas Day bomber. So now we're hearing more about Yemen, and remember I just covered this, about a month ago. It was in March 30th. Malnutrition in Yemen, now drone strikes. So they go in there and say, oh, they're starving, the people of Yemen are starving, and we need to create and arm the opposition. well, really the aid's going to the opposition, which is Al-Qaeda, and we're against Al-Qaeda. We, as in the United States, in that we're against Al-Qaeda, but we're going to fund them, kind of like in Syria, where you had what? A suicide bomb. I don't know if you guys caught this. This is, like I said, this is before. This is news I never even got a chance to get to. April 27th. What? It was a suicide bomb in Syria. That is not usual. And so what you're seeing now, when you see just straight up bullshit like this is them getting desperate. This is them pushing their agenda forward, just like they always do. Like when they spray and you feel powerless over it, they're just pushing it forward, the agenda. And so they're going to keep doing things like suicide bombs in Syria and fake patsies, calling them Al-Qaeda bomb plots. So it's like everywhere else when you see these things. Airstrike in Yemen kills Al-Qaeda leader of FBI wanted list. So they've always seemed to kill the leader about 100 times. So there must be about 1 million leaders. And it's, like I said before, they're just, whatever the reason is, they want to go into the Gulf of Aden and near Yemen. And you just saw on that map, I can't pronounce it, but Djibouti or Djibouti in Africa, the CIA has their own drone base. They have their own base right there. So that they're having a lot of activity going on, and they're also training AFRICOM, the African troops in Somalia, which is this AMISOM. U.S. steps up training for Afghan force in Somalia and Uganda, and of course this is a take on the Lord's resistance, and that has nothing to do about the recolonization of Africa. I found this funny, guys, and again, as I said, I've had so many things I've noticed I haven't got a chance to get to. Just in my little town, it's a little town of no more than like 8,000 people. I don't even think it's 5,000, but either way, Coney 2012 right there in the main little intersection, and it's just like Coney 2012. It's like these people are just complete puppets. When you see that in an Amish town, Coney 2012. It's like you don't have enough problems. Like Amish are getting raided for selling raw milk, which I just saw an article today helps them fight allergies. But what? You're gonna put up? You're gonna promote like recolonization of Africa in the heart of Amish land. I mean, it's just, dude, it never ends, man. The brainwashing. So my website is ggnonline.com. If you're a new listener, I put up a new poll. What are the chances of a staged alien invasion / space threat, i.e., incoming asteroids or whatever, during the 2012 London Olympics? It's going to happen. It's a very good chance. Could happen, but who knows when. Never going to happen. Grab your tinfoil hat. So go in there and check that out. I put a new thing up here for language preference, so you can transcribe this here. All right, I'm ready to go. The first one we have up here is an older one, which is British Special Forces caught dressed as Arab terrorists. So, and this is older. You can go in there and check that out. But this is just to give you some background about the type of stuff that goes on here. Here's a good example. FBI, 5 men charged in Ohio bridge bomb plot. This is from May 2nd. 5 men described as federal authorities as anarchists. Oh, described by federal authorities. I thought they were saying the anarchists were the feds, which they probably were. Okay, so let me start off. 5 men described by federal authorities as anarchists, angry with corporate America. They're probably angry with statism. They say corporate America to make them sound like communists, right? Communists and anarchists. This just goes to show you how diluted this propaganda mainstream media is, dude. It's just so bad. So obvious. The government were charged Tuesday with plotting to bomb an Ohio bridge linking the 2 wealthy Cleveland suburbs. So, in Ohio, remember, this is the place where Kucinich just got voted out of. And Michigan town near Ohio could become China City. So 415-unit housing complex would be home to Chinese business people. So this is happening. I've covered this before. I went in darkness, I guess you could say, there for a week. And what was I covering? I was talking about the slow invasion of America, how this is the invasion has begun. I was talking about on the border and stuff like that. We're finding all the weapons, and now I saw this, another Chinese city, like out in Idaho and that. So just, there are people that are angry, but see, what you have is these douchebag or federal authorities mixing in with protesters and starting trouble, starting riots, getting violent, as they say. Those aren't anarchists. You know, anarchists, most of them are peaceful and they want to promote their things, their philosophy or their way of doing things. What? Not through using violence. So you see these guys dressed in black, damaging private property. They're not anarchists. If they say they are, then they're fucking liars. They're probably government provocateurs. So remember this from May 3rd, US-Afghanistan pact does not rule out drone strikes after 2014. And, you know, this is important because we have this. U.S.-led airstrikes leave 11 Afghan civilians dead. So it says fresh U.S.-led bombings, across Afghanistan claim the lives of 11 civilians. Moving on here, we have this. The U.S. confirms airstrike wrongly killed 6 in Afghan families. So they wrongly killed them. Well, are they doing that on accident, guys? No, they're not. You see, they want the pictures to go out of pissing on dead corpses and the Quran and stuff like that, because it infuriates the Taliban and infuriates these people in Afghanistan to fight back. And all that does is it keeps the United States and their presence in Afghanistan beyond 2014 for however long they want, so that Asia, China, Russia don't go back in there. But according to Webster Tarpley, the Taliban is actually working with the United States, so it makes sense that they actually pay the Taliban to not attack certain convoys, yet the NATO gets attacked, their convoys, because they don't pay off the Taliban. U.S.-led forces intentionally killing Afghan civilians, says former Prime Minister. So a former Prime Minister accused U.S.-led forces in Afghanistan of intentionally killing civilians. And he goes on and he says that the only solution is the Western forces must leave. He says if they want peace in this country, if they don't leave, it means they are intentionally after the killing of Afghans, and there will be no end to this war until they are militarily present in Afghan soil. So based off what I just said, U.S. lawmakers are even agreeing with me, right? Taliban stronger than before U.S. troops surge. Remember, the Taliban were helped created by, originally, to fight off the Soviets. Brzezinski, headed up by the CIA, militarized and built these guys up. So let's not forget that in case you're just new to this information. So basically, this was Dianne Feinstein's. She's kind of a globalist. And so yeah, it basically verifies that their goal of using the Taliban has been a huge success. So U.S. secretly released prisoners in Afghanistan, says a report. U.S. has been secretly releasing detainees from a prison in Afghanistan as part of negotiation with the insurgent group. So again, this is all just verifying what I'm saying here, so I don't sound like I'm just a tinfoil hat wearing person. U.S. hostage urges Obama to meet Al-Qaeda demands. So now the Al-Qaeda is an American aid worker abducted by Al-Qaeda in Pakistan last year has pleaded with U.S. I don't even want to say President Barack Obama, because it's so sickening to even say that, to meet his captors' demands for the release of prisoners in order to save his life, in a video released by the militants group. So this is kind of similar to the story of Raymond Davis, the CIA worker who killed 2 Pakistani, I believe they were government workers. They were keeping track of him because he was in there spying, and they wanted to basically, what they did was they said, we don't want your blood money, we want him dead. So what did they do? They gave him blood money and he got out of the country. So this is similar, but the only reason I'm putting this, including this story in this report is what? Is that, we're going to be dealing with Al-Qaeda. Well, we're already dealing with Al-Qaeda because, like in Libya and now in Syria, you have Clinton and the United States and congressmen openly calling for arming the rebels, which are Al-Qaeda. So Al-Qaeda now incapable of 9/11 scale attacks, U.S. officials say, so they should know, right? Because Al-Qaeda is usually headed up by the governments themselves, right? Their own private terrorist network, so that they can do what they're going to do. This is from April 28th, and it kind of made me laugh when I first heard it. Maps U.S. bases are encircling Iran. It says here that U.S. military bases continue to form a strategic envelope around Iran, although the American withdrawal from Iraq at the end of 2011 may change the regional balance towards Iran's favor. It says U.S. forces are scaling back in many parts of the globe due to budget cuts. That has nothing to do with it. That's just the reason. They're going to special forces now and have begun a gradual departure from Afghanistan to be completed by 2014. So even that's a bunch of crap. And again, if you don't believe me, U.S. Special Forces commander seeks to expand operations clandestine units to fight terrorism. That's you, a freedom-loving person. It says here, IDF, Israeli Defense Force, conducts Lebanon attack drills to prepare for a possible attack. Next up, Israel approves call-up of 22 additional battalions to secure Egypt-Syria borders. Next up, as U.S. pressuring India to cut crude imports from Iran. Beijing is planning to avoid U.S. financial sanctions on Iran by paying. So please join me in part 2. I'm going to get into some Asian news on Russia and China on that. This is GGN. I'm Darko. Thank you.